Hey everyone, it's Ethan or Miist back again for another video today, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here again for yet another video. Going to be talking about every movie and show I watched last week. I've been kind of on like a hot stretch of watching shows this month, mostly because of Stranger Things. Only because of Stranger Things, really, but yeah, nonetheless, let's get into it. Starting it off with the 2.5 seasons of TV I watched last week. My least favorite was Dancing with the Stars season 34. I thought it was a solid season. There was quite a good amount of dances. You can see my review here. I am glad that Robert won, although I was rooting for Alex or Jordan a lot more. I'm happy that Robert won nonetheless. And my prediction from day one was that Robert was going to win. So, I got my prediction right. Mel also got her dream with Robert winning. So, yeah. Overall, I enjoyed the season. It's not my favorite of the seasons, but I liked it more than last season. And yeah, nonetheless, let's move on to Stranger Things Season 4, which is one of my favorite shows. One of my favorite seasons in all of TV. And Stranger Things is, I don't know, it might just be my favorite show. I know it's far better than The Flash, which I consider my favorite show. But yeah, I love this fucking season. Mel and I basically speed ran it this week. We were only on episode 2, I think. Like, we had to watch episode 2 or we had to watch episode 3. I think we had to watch episode 3. Come Monday, we ended up watching episodes 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, I believe. And then we didn't get a chance to watch anything on Tuesday. We ended up watching 8 and 9 on Wednesday before starting season 5, which season 5, by the way, so far, really, really good. I'm really excited. I am going to rewatch it once we're closer to Christmas. The week of Christmas, I'll probably rewatch it. But yeah, overall, so far, I'm very satisfied with Season 5. The ending of Volume 1 is fantastic. It's amazing. The Duffer Brothers make fantastic Episode 4s. And yeah, overall, really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Volume 2 and Volume 3 goes. No real predictions. Excited to see how the play ties into this, as well as time travel. There's got to be some sort of time travel. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So let's get on to the movies. But firstly, I'm going to talk and kind of promote a movie for you guys. Let's talk about See You at the Palace, the story of Moncton's indoor amusement park, which is directed by a friend of mine, a personal friend of mine who I went to high school with. We played hockey together when we were really young. We reconnected in high school, and we went to high school together. We graduated together, and then we kind of reconnected again a couple years ago. And Parker, his name is Parker, the director. Parker and I are pretty good friends now, and this is his documentary about a formerly local amusement park that we had here in our hometown of Moncton, which closed about 11 years ago now. And yeah, it's a very interesting documentary. I ranked it a gazillion out of 100, obviously, as you can see. But I really just wanted to talk about this and promote this to you guys. Definitely go check it out. It's free on YouTube. And it's a really great documentary, very well made. And Parker definitely had the passion behind this, and I feel like you can see that. But yeah, I would actually rank it an 85 out of 100. I really enjoyed it nonetheless. But yeah, I'm giving Parker the props he deserves. So definitely go check it out. Now let's get into the movies of the week. Starting it off with my least favorite of the week, which was After the Hunt, which I think I've just come to learn that I'm not really a fan of Luca Guadagnino's movies, unfortunately. I really loved Challengers last year when I watched it, which I think was the first Guadagnino movie I watched. Then I watched a couple others this year, Suspiria, Call Me By Your Name, Queer, After the Hunt. Yeah, overall, I just don't really care for many of his movies. Rewatching Challengers this year on my birthday, I enjoyed it a lot less than the first time I watched it. But Challengers and Call Me By Your Name I think are good. The rest of his filmography that I've gone through, I don't really enjoy. So that kind of sucks. But, 26 out of 100. My least favorite. One of my least favorites of the year as well. So that kind of sucks. Let's move on to Four Christmases, which is also not a good movie. This one's quite bad. This is like a super 2000s rom-com, you can tell. I ranked it a 39 out of 100, watched it with Mel. Neither of us really enjoyed it, to be fair. Mel's a big Reese Witherspoon girl. She loves Reese Witherspoon. And I've always liked Vince Vaughn, but don't think this is a good movie in any sort of way. So 39 out of 100. Let's move on to Christmas Bloody Christmas, which I ranked a 60 out of 100. This is kind of a really fun slasher movie. I definitely recommend it. It's a little horny, fair warning if you don't like that kind of movie, but overall it's just kind of a fun neon landscape of a slasher film, which I enjoy. I feel like if I make a slasher film one day, I would want it to be bright, I would want it to be colorful. Something like this, I could definitely see, some inspiration coming from this. So yeah, overall, there's definitely some stuff to enjoy here. I'd check it out if I were you. 60 out of 100. Let's move on to The Grinch, which I'm not going to lie to you, I barely paid attention to this. I kind of started this like 15 minutes into it with Mel and her friend while they were here one night. And I kind of like sat down. We were all just kind of chit-chatting. We like half-ass watched it. Figured I'd rank it again just because I want my numbers to go up, but rank it a 61 out of 100. It's a decent movie. I didn't change my ranking from last year when I watched it, so yeah. Let's move on to another 2025 release, which was Good Boy, which this was a movie that kind of scared me to watch for obvious reasons. A horror movie from the perspective of a dog. Sounds horrifying because of the dog. But this is definitely an enjoyable movie. I think there's some really good moments I enjoyed. The start of this movie, it was pretty solid. The end of this movie felt like there was a lot to be desired. I didn't really care for the end of the movie, to be honest. I didn't think it made much sense. And it definitely, nothing was really explained, obviously. But I definitely didn't understand why the movie ended. I guess why it ended that way. I just didn't really feel like it made any sense to me. I don't know, maybe I missed something, but nonetheless, I still think it's a decent movie, ranked at a 63 out of 100. Let's move on to Cry Macho, which is a Clint Eastwood movie that I'm still trying to get through his filmography. Decided to watch Cry Macho tonight, and I enjoyed it, ranked it to 71 out of 100. Clint is great. I really love Clint Eastwood. That's one thing I've learned this year. Some older actors I've recently fallen in love with the past couple of years. Last year was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then this year it's Clint Eastwood. Both of these two are quite old, and they were more of the generation of my parents and my grandparents. And I love Clint. I fell in love with him this year. His one-liners are hilarious. He's a solid actor, and he's very smart behind the camera. I think he's a very underrated director. Yeah. Overall, I really like Clint. So, Cry Macho, ranked at a 71 out of 100. Let's move on to Shooting Stars, which was a recommendation from Tristan. Shout out Triz. Ranked at a 76 out of 100. Thought this is a good movie. Kind of felt fitting to watch a Caleb McLaughlin movie during the week of Stranger Things Season 5. And honestly, I had no idea this was based on a true story, based on LeBron James, but this is a really solid movie as well. Lots of fun and enjoyable moments throughout as well. And yeah, I think this is a good biopic that I would recommend. Definitely. 76 out of 100. Let's move on to Society of the Snow, which is another based on a true story. And this is a dreadful based on a true story. This is absolutely awful. The opening line is on October 13th, 1972, which I literally paused. I was like 6 seconds into the movie. I literally paused and I messaged my mom and I was like, "Did you know this happened?" Because it happened on your date of birth. My mother was born October 13th, 1972, and I had no idea about this. This was something I wanted to watch a couple years ago when it came out. I just never did. And watching it this week, I kind of regretted it just because of how sad it was. It was really, really dreadful to watch, and it's a good movie. I think it's a really great movie, actually, but it's just so fucking sad. It's really, really depressing, and to be honest, I think it reminded me of All Quiet on the Western Front, which I just recently rewatched, I believe last week. This is a movie that I might rewatch once in my life and then never touch it again just because of how hard of a watch it is and how depressing it is. So, yeah, Society of the Snow, ranked it at 84 out of 100. let's keep going on to Memoirs of a Geisha, which is a movie that's been on my watch list for a long time. I really am just fascinated by the Asian culture of different cultures in Asia, I guess. But this one is a little weird considering this is about, a geisha, which is a part of Japanese culture, and the three leading women in this movie are all Chinese. And as far as I can see, there's really no affiliation between like a Chinese person, Chinese woman, and a geisha. So I thought that was kind of silly. Don't get me wrong, I still love the three leads that we had in this, but thought that's just kind of out of place. But nonetheless, I enjoyed this movie. It is a little weird contextually when you think about this like 10-year-old kid falling in love with a man and literally chasing her entire life after this man is kind of weird. But yeah, nonetheless, I still enjoyed it. Ranked at an 86 out of 100. Let's move on to how I started the week with Apollo 10 and a half, A Space Age Childhood. Richard Linklater film that was one of the first, actually I think the first Linklater film I'd ever seen a couple of years ago when this did come out. Been wanting to rewatch it, as I've mentioned previously over the past few months. There's some 2021, 2022, maybe even some 2023 movies that I want to rewatch to see if my ratings have changed, because I feel like my ratings have changed a lot, and the way I rank a movie has changed a lot, especially from 2022 when I started ranking movies. And this did, I believe, get lowered a few points down to an 88 out of 100 from, I think it was like a 90 or 91. But I still really enjoy this film. It's a really underrated Linklater. Definitely check it out. It was a great movie. Let's move on to Edge of Tomorrow, which I ranked at 91 out of 100. I watched this, I don't think last year, but the year before, and I mentioned in my review that I just didn't get a chance to properly watch this film, and I really enjoyed it. And that was kind of the exact same thing this time around, unfortunately, so I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot, but the first time I watched this movie, it took me legit like 4 days to get through it because I just kept being interrupted, unfortunately. And then this time around watching it, it took me 2 days. I didn't get to finish it in one sitting like I had planned, and I was a little upsetting. So I will rewatch this again at some point in one sitting, hopefully, because I really enjoy this movie and I want to watch it in one sitting, and I have not been able to yet. So 91 out of 100. And let's move on to one of my favorites of the month, and definitely my favorite watch of the week, which is Prisoners. I love Prisoners, man. This is probably still my favorite Villeneuve movie. When I rewatched it last year, I was like cemented. This is my favorite Villeneuve movie. Rewatching Dune Part 2 this year, kind of really enjoyed it. And although I still do enjoy it, I think this, specifically Prisoners, is still my favorite Villeneuve. But it's really between Dune Part 2 and Prisoners, so don't come at me. Hopefully I don't think that's a hot take, really. But yeah, 99 out of 100. It's a great movie. Anyways, thank you guys all so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy. Go check out Parker's documentary. Like I said, it's on YouTube. I'll link it in the description as well. And yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.